Shalom Aleichem. Hello everybody. To those who are listening to this Torah and Parashat Mishpatim, I want to raise a fundamental question, something that I think we grapple with and struggle with, especially in recent times. How much do we trust authority? How much do we believe in authority figures? We've experienced COVID. There are a lot of questions about medical professionals and questions about politicians and political decisions. We're living through a war in Eretz Yisrael today. How much do we trust our military leaders, our political leaders? How much do we trust governmental officials? These are questions which we're grappling with. This also plays out in the Jewish world. How much do we trust our rabbinic leaders, our dayanim, our rabbis, our chief rabbis? We live in an age in which there's a crisis of authority and belief and trust in authority figures. And there's a particular pasuk in Parashat Mishpatim which addresses some of the challenges that I think we face in these relationships, especially during our own day and age. The pasuk appears in Parashat Mishpatim, Perek Kaf Bet, pasuk Kaf Zayin, Elohim lo tekalel v'nasi ve'amcha lo ta'or. What is the meaning of this pasuk? How do we apply it? And I want to share with you a few different parshanim who interpret this more narrowly and also then more broadly. And I want to draw out and extrapolate a lesson which I think is relevant for our day and age. Rashi, first of all, tells us that Elohim in this case refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A person is not allowed to curse HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A person is also, Elohim could also mean, or Elohim can mean a dayan or a judge, especially in Parashat Mishpatim. And it means a person should not curse a judge or a nasi. Why would a person want to do this? So the Rashbam, Rashi's grandson, sort of points us in this direction to understand the context. And he says, we're talking about, this is a general situation, although one can imagine other situations beyond this one. What is the case here? Where a judge gives you a ruling, and they sentence you, and you lose the case, and you're very angry and frustrated, and so you curse them. And so we're talking about a judicial context, according to the Rashbam. And what he suggests is Diber Katuv Behoveh. There are other instances in which this deen, this halacha might apply, but the Torah just gives us the most either relevant or the most common instance in which this would, you can imagine the situation occurring. The Netziv, though, points out that this pasuk, this lo taseh or double sort of lo taseh here, is in fact more broad. Okay, it's not doesn't just apply in the case of a court case or against a particular judge or dayan, but really it's about the way that we respond to and talk about and think about our leaders. And he says that lo tekalel and lo ta'or doesn't just mean to curse, literally to curse. It means to treat them with bizayon, to try to diminish them, to try to pull them down, to try to shame them and taunt them and insult them and to ruin their reputation. Why would a person want to do this? The Netziv explains very powerfully, psychological insight, that it's a teva av adam, it's a natural inclination of a person, that whoever is considered a manhig, or whoever rules over you, whoever is lords over you, it's teva hadam lahatil mumufgam b'hanagat chavero. It's customary for us to look for the negative, for us to be critical, to see the bad things, and to push back against authority. And this is a natural human tendency, to rebel against those who have power over us. Students do this against teachers, congregants do it against their rabbis, chayalim do this against their ketzinim and their mefakdim, people do this against their politicians and leaders. It is natural to push back against authority, especially when someone has more control, more power over you. When there's some asymmetric power dynamic, we tend to push back. It's natural human tendency. We don't want to be controlled. We do not want to be told what to do. And the Netziv points out here that this pasuk is sort of capturing why a person wants to do this. You want to sort of remove that burden of the authority figure, of them looking down upon you, lording upon you, and telling you what to do. Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, though, takes this to an even deeper place, and he points out, first of all, that lo tekalel and lo ta'or are referring to two different instances. Lo tekalel means to lighten, and what that means is that you're trying to lighten a person's reputation. In this case, they have a certain kavod, a certain glory, honor, and a certain shame, tov, and you want to pull them down. You want to sort of make them lighter. take away the kavod that they have or the influence that they have in society. That's what lo tikalel comes to mean. And this is a context, specifically in a judicial context, when a person, again, is pushing back against an authority figure or a judge, whoever it is, who ruled against them. And the goal is you're pushing back against the position that they have. And the goal is to sort of bring them down, to lighten them, to ruin their reputation. The second instance of a nasi is a person who has great wealth, great honor, great glory, great influence. And this stems from, the desire to curse them stems from jealousy, that they have more than you have, that they're more powerful, that they have more influence, more cars, more homes, more money in the bank, a better stock portfolio, whatever it is that you want that they have. So out of sinah v'kina, that Rav Hirsch explains, you try to pull them down, you curse them. And the Netziv points out that the purpose of this, the Pasuk is trying to teach us about the danger of doing this. That when we curse our leaders, it creates a general kilkul. It creates a general destruction in society. And I think this Pasuk really raises for us fundamental questions about how we respond to and treat our authority figures. Minimally, the Pasuk is telling us, just don't curse them. Don't do so much damage. Don't ruin other people's trust in our leaders. At the same time, there's an awareness here that we have the need to push back against them. And the need to push back often comes from a good place, that we want our leaders to lead us, to do the right thing, to choose wisdom, to choose the right path. And it's important that we give them that feedback and that there's this exchange of ideas and this pushback. And this pasuk, I feel based on the Parshanim, there's an understanding of the need to do that. But sometimes we take it too far. Sometimes it's too extreme. Sometimes we become critical of the leaders just because of by the mere reality that they are the ones in positions of power. And if it's not them, it would be someone else. And we have to recognize that our own inclination to push back about structures of power sometimes can be very immature or naive and foolish, in fact. And so the pasuk captures, I think, some issues that we're grappling with today. How can we, at the same time, trust our leaders, but also be critical? And what is the right way to approach them? How can we be constructive and not destructive? And this is the pasuk. Elohim lo tikalel v'nasi b'amcha lo ta'or bezrat Hashem. We should have leaders who lead us with wisdom towards good things, towards besorot tovot, and towards a place of stability, especially during this challenging phase in Am Yisrael's history. Wishing you Shabbat Shalom.